Hi, this is Bernice at Itsy Bitsy Imaginarium. This is part 2 of my anatomical heart tutorial. If you haven't seen part 1, the link is in the description. Shall we continue? Still using your 18 gauge and your 26 gauge wires, you need to cut 6 pieces of 18 gauge around 5 inches long. We'll be doing a figure of 8 weave around 3 sets of 2 wires. Securing your 26 gauge on your first wire, wrap it around 5 times. And then add your second wire. Wrap round both wires twice, leaving the wire to the back. Add your next 2 wires together. Wrap round both of these once, pulling the wire back round to the front. And add your last 2 wires. Wrap around these top 2 3 times. We're doing more on the top row because we're going to have a curve in this pattern. Once round the middle 2 again. And twice round the bottom 2. Make sure you squeeze it in nice and tight. Again, once round the middle 2 and 3 times around the top. You need to keep doing this pattern until you've got around 3 centimetres. Again, squeezing in between each time. It's good to use nylon pliers, but if you haven't got any, flat nose do the same job. I'll come back when we've got 3 centimetres. Now you've got your 3 centimetres. Check that it fits against your... I'm using the picture, but check against your heart that you've made so far. Now gently curve it, like you're doing half of a rainbow. The rest will make the other half later. Now you need to separate them first. The top 2 wires, pull them away from the bottom 4. You're going to continue with your figure of 8 weave on these 2. Doing twice round each wire with this one. You want the gaps nice and tight. Now you need to measure a centimetre from where it is. Sorry, 5 millimetres. No, it is a centimetre, yeah. Yeah, about a centimetre, sorry. And we need to put some little bends in. There's 2 of them. You just use the tip of your pliers, bend it up, and bend it back on itself. You want tight little lumps. Squeeze it tight with the tip of your pliers. You want two next to each other. Now you've got your two little bumps, you need to carry on with your figure of 8 weave, just on these top 2 wires. Two times round each wire. So you've got about 5mm after the 2 bumps. Once you've finished weaving, snip your wire. Save this wire because you do need to secure something in a minute. Take your bottom wire and bend it round, holding it flat against your weave as if you're doing a spiral. Go all the way around till it's facing back up to the top. Now bend it over to the back. Move your weaving wire out of the way. You want to snip it here and pinch it in behind that wire that you've just been using. Make sure it's in there nice and tight. Squeeze it down flat because it wants to be level with the weaving. Now bend that wire back on itself. Snip and pinch against the wire that you've just wrapped round there. So it's like a little knot at the back. Pinch it in nice and tight. Now using the weaving wire, just wrap round a couple of times through the hoop that you've just made so it's nice and secure and doesn't get caught on anything. Snipping your wire and making sure there's no sharp ends. You need to put a bend in this section. It can be quite stiff, so you might need to use pliers. It's just putting a little curve in it so it's not sticking out too much. Now with these 4 wires, secure your wire, your weaving wire, sorry. I do it to the second wire from the bottom, just because that's the one with the most room on it. You're going to do the figure of 8 weave again, but this time we're having 1 wire at the top, 2 in the middle and 1 at the bottom. Still doing the same amount of wraps, 2 on the bottom, 1 on the middle and 3 on the top, because we have to curve this round as well. I won't make you watch me doing all this weaving. I'll be back in a second. Once you have your 3 centimetres, you want to gently bend it. Do the curve of the heart. Snipping off your excess wires. You need to leave a bit of the wire that's still connected from your spool, as you need to use this to secure it to the frame. Now we need to get rid of some of these excess wires. You need to keep both ends of each side. The middle wires, you want to fold them back and snip them short and pinch them in tight. Do this to all 6 of the centre wires. Just check it fits. Just putting a bit of a curve to go around the frame. Right, bend your 4 base wires backwards so that you can fit them through the gaps in the frame. I'm snipping the wires so I don't have to drag such a big piece of wire through a small gap. Secure them around the base. Wrap each one of your 4 wires round to secure it in. Now with the weaving wire you left, wrap it round the frame and then secure it through the weave. Do it as many times as you want to make it secure, but at least 3 or 4 times. Snip off your excess wire. Make sure there's no sharp bits. For this next part, you need 2 pieces of 6-inch 18 gauge wire. Bend it in half. And then using your round nose pliers, you want to do a coil till you get to the very end again. Make sure it stays nice and tight. Make sure that both ends are nice and tight. And using your chain nose, just pinch the end in a bit so that there's no sharp edges. Straighten your wire out so you can get it through the frame. Hold it flat against the frame there and bend your wire back. Now you need to do a coil again on that wire till you get that back to the frame. Do this to both wires. Cut about 6 inches of your 26 gauge. Just wrap it round where they all join together just to make sure it's nice and tight. Securing your wire between the figure of 8 weave that you've already done. You only need to do a couple of times on each side to secure it. Snip your wire and make sure there's no pokey bits. Wrong pliers. Again, securing it through the weave that's already there. And that's part 2. Hope you come back for part 3. Thank you very much. Oh, please like and subscribe as well. Thank you. Bye.